Okay guys, we're gonna be reviewing a lease today, how to lease your property. My property manager slash business partner just wrote it up and I'm gonna make sure that he doesn't commit me to $1 a month in rent for the next 12 months on a unit. Look at over there, he's trying to get me so bad. Anyway, so. We're gonna look at this lease today and go over it and show you guys what to look for when making a lease and why we have these things in our lease. Oh, lease, I don't want this lease.
Why?
This lease is trash.
No, it's not. That's literally like.
I don't understand.
Dude, your lease is not even like legally binding. Like that's a regular standard
Mine
lease.
is not legally binding.
Yes, it's some scratch put together lease. You just like chop and pit and just threw a bunch of shit together in a
Legally
document.
binding
No,
clauses.
That's
This one's
standardized.
not any good.
Yes, it is. It's literally the standard clauses for Kansas City.
Dude,
it's actually lawyer reviewed. Yours is Danny reviewed.
My lease is the landlord special. It doesn't have all that fancy schmancy legal language that you use to con people. Whatever, we'll look at this legal Missouri realtor lease and see if it's any good.
It's super straightforward. Look, we're doing an eviction right now, and that lease is holding up.
I think mine would hold up from the right.
I don't think it would. I think the attorney would probably like, who in the hell put this together?
No, he wouldn't.
He probably would.
Dude, the lease is starting July 1st, not June 1st.
Okay, well then just what you gotta do is tell me, and they can be adjusted.
Alright, I'm gonna make these edits. And then it's gonna go to the next June 30th, whatever. Or 31st.
Agree. Alright, I'll share you that data version.
Okay guys, on a lease, we want to have a few things in here. I would just use a standard realtor lease that is provided by the state. If you ask your agent or somebody in real estate, they're probably gonna have a lease that's already been vetted through by a real estate lawyer, and that's gonna help you kind of shortcut the game. The big things are, of course, with any lease, to have an executed lease, you need, the price of the rent, the term, how many, if it's a 1 year, if it's month to month, if it's a 6 month, whatever, who's gonna be there occupying the property. You need to make sure all adults over the age of 18 they've had a background check and done at a minimum, and I usually do a credit check as well as an income verification. I call their employers and all that good stuff, guys. So you need to make sure you do all that on anybody, especially if they're over 18. You need to make sure you have a background check, make sure you don't have criminals in your property without you knowing about it, and you need to make sure anyone who's financially responsible for the property has been financially vetted. Everything needs to be outlined in a lease, guys, especially things that can go wrong. So you need to outline like who's responsible for utilities, maintenance, if they're gonna have any pets. You need to charge them pet fees. Like we charge between $400 and $600 upfront pet fee, plus we charge pet rent from about $25 up to $100+ a month in extra pet rent, depending on how many pets they have, how big they are, and so on and so forth. And you need to charge these fees because it will create additional revenue, but those pets will likely create additional wear and tear on the property that you will eventually have to pay for. And everybody does this, guys. Most places don't even allow pets, so people are happy when you even allow them. They know that their pets are going to cost more money and they're happy to pay it. You also need to make sure you put in there what the security deposit is, if it's refundable or non-refundable. In this area, customary security deposit is 1 month's rent. So like in this case, the rent is $1,500, so he's going to put an additional $1,500 as a refundable security deposit. This is to protect us when he moves out. If he tears up the unit or leaves a bunch of trash or something like that, we can use that security deposit to help pay for those expenses to get it ready for the next tenant. And if he leaves it clean, we'll go ahead and give that back to him in full. So those are the big things that I found. If you get kind of a boilerplate lease for your state or locality, it's going to have a lot of the lawyer happy fun clauses, like indemnity and all of the legalese to protect you as a landlord, which you definitely need. Something goes wrong, like they get hurt or something like that. Those are the big things that you need to worry about in your lease, is making sure that those clauses are in there to protect you against liability. If for whatever reason somebody gets hurt on your property, you need to be protected against that. Also, a good thing to have in addition to a lease is some kind of blanket liability umbrella policy, to where even though if you have a lease, if somebody decides to sue you or something like that, which is unlikely, but it's very cheap to get $1 million of liability insurance, or just I think it's just maybe like a few $100s a year. It's not very much. That can protect you if you have a portfolio. If somebody gets hurt or something like that, that can cover you for sure. The other big thing is just make sure that your lease says it's not executed until you've gotten paid. So for somebody to move into one of my units, I need to make sure I've collected all the rent, security deposit, and any pet fees and pet rent, as well as any other miscellaneous fees that I might have. A couple of bonus, and then once they pay all that and they've signed the lease, then they'll get the keys and they can move in. Another thing, guys, with rentals and how you can make additional money, there's a few things you can do. Ask another investor in your area or an agent for a nice boilerplate lease you can use, and that should be a great start if you're trying to rent out your rental property. If you guys like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe for more content like this, and we'll see you in the next video.